let's have a look to this practice day number 2 on viola. We can continue in the key that we chose, but remember that we will need to do on all the 24 major and minor keys. For now, let's just continue on our comfortable C major. So we will take 1 octave along the fingerboard. So first finger, starting from maybe from the open string, the first comfortable note to start. So with a full bow all the time, very close to the bridge. Making sure that the left hand press correctly and strongly enough to focus the sound. Without pressing with the bow. Make sure to have the finger very strong on the string. And make sure to make the instrument sound at the bridge with the full set of hairball placed on the string. What we need to do is just place the finger, release it until the every time tapping and release, and then move it. When playing on our 4th string, namely the C string, make sure to give the maximum depth that you can give to the sound, and hold it until all the course of the hairball. Because many times the sensation, the tendency is to play maybe with this sound. Let's try to make really the maximum sound, the maximum volume that we can get. So keeping the bow really into the C made by the reed. And of course, remember, a lot of hairball, a lot of bridge, and forte, but without press, using the weight of the right arm, not the strength. First finger, same with the second finger. Okay, of course we can correct, probably the many instruments are not so used to play in this area, so make sure to we can eventually correct them. Especially in this area, make sure really to make your instrument play close to the bridge. And try to move it even closer to the bridge. In order to make the instrument used to play in that way. Don't be scared to be too rough or to be too loud. Let's try to imagine like a workout for the instrument to develop more sound, of course, with the correct pitch. So first, second finger, third finger, so we can choose to start on this C on the G string. Here is even more important to stay close to the bridge, because when we go in the higher position, especially on internal string, it may be easier to touch the wrong string if you are too much on the fingerboard. Let's try to really play the extreme bridge. If the sound is not focused, it means that the left hand must not press correctly. Third finger and fourth finger. So for many hands, especially those of you who have maybe not particularly big hand, it may be useful to avoid to play with the fourth finger alone. At least add the second and third, or even the full set of fingers. In the way that we can support our fourth finger all the time. Then this will be the separate part. And then we go to the legato, still 1 octave. Legato scale with 2 fingers. First, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. One octave, starting from the most comfortable place to start, namely this do. Try to not interrupt the sound. I know that may be hard at the beginning, but this is to make our shifting a little bit more fluid, more continuous. Make one legato for down bow, up bow is okay. Same with the second and third finger. Most important is not to stop the sound. It's the left hand that needs to figure out how to shift correctly. So don't try to help with the right hand, because it's rather impossible. This one, and then 3 and 4, even if maybe hard. This helps the hand to learn how to shift with every finger, but also to develop strength in the finger itself. That is particularly important of viola. So make sure also to check the position of your elbow, and try to maintain the correct setting of the hand without crook your wrist, because otherwise can be painful. Just help a lot with the elbow. Tapping always from the height, from the top, wherever you are on the fingerboard. So we have the separate 1 1 1 2 2 2 3 3 3 4 4, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 2 3, and 3 4 3 4, and then we can add another legato scale. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. With this fingering we can add the arpeggio. In this way, now I'm starting from the A string, but we can easily do it also on the G. Also make sure to tap correctly. So we can start. We can choose any point of start. We can even here. Like is suggested in Carl Flesch scale book. But eventually, even starting from a lower position in the beginning, maybe enough. In the same way, we can practice all the keys. So now we are do it in C major, but again, we will need to do it in every major and minor key. So we have the legato scale, and now we can start make a little more effort and adding the double stops. We can start with the octave. When playing double stop, is very important that the left hand sustain the sound until the end every time. So until the note is not ended, make sure to leave the finger down on the fingerboard. And a common mistake is trying to play just with a single two finger 1 and 4th. I recommend make sure to keep the 2nd, 3rd and 4th deployed all the time. In order to sustain the 4th finger and avoid it to press or to get stressed too much. So we can the scale, and we can add the arpeggio, why not? Okay, so 1 octave of octaves with arpeggio. This may be very good because learning how to tap in this area may let the left finger become stronger. Then we can add the 6th. So we take the main 6th of C major, namely E and C, because starting from the arpeggio, we all know that is the 3rd who make the arpeggio, so who let us identify the arpeggio. So this makes the point of start for the C major main 6th. We need to remember that we are dealing sometimes with minor 6th and sometimes with major 6th. The major 6th is that one who make the finger at the distance of semitone. So the major 6th, of course, is the 6th with with finger placed closely. The minor 6th is already 1 semitone of distance between the two fingers. So we need to remember the sequence of the major scale. That will be small, large, large, small, small again, large, large, and small. Going back is the same. Small, large, large, small, small, large, large. Of course, it would be better to remember every time the note, to keep in mind the note that we are playing, but it can be a good way to memorize it, at least in the beginning. And every major scale will have the same sequence. That now we play with 1st and 2nd. We can do the same with 2nd and 3rd. Exactly the same, and even if hard, we can do the same with 3rd and 4th finger. We start with the half position. It's hard, of course, but it's a very good exercise for the fourth finger. So I recommend you to do it this way. And of course, we can apply the same for every key that we are going to practice. So octave, sixth, and thirds. One octave of thirds starting from the main third of C major. That reversing the chord will be C and E natural here. 1 and 3. Sorry, first and third finger. Of course, in all these scales, the rule is always the same. Play add the bridge. Even getting closer to the bridge if you can. To make the instrument used to play with the double stop frequency, this is it may improve the sound of the instrument kind of a lot. Of course, make sure to sustain the left hand. Don't try to press to help with the right hand to help the left hand. We need to be very light, but with the bow, but close to the bridge. So this sequence of large interval and small interval will be exactly the same as the sixth. I mean, we will have 1 tone and a half between first and third finger for let's say a small interval. The second one is 2 tones, F and D of distance, so already large interval. The same for G and E. The same for F and A. So this sequence will be the same of the sixth. It means small, larger, larger, small, small, then larger, larger, and small again, and going back in the same way. So I repeat, it will be of course better to know every time the note that you are playing. That will be the most important. But the beginning, if it may be easier, we can remember the sequence. Small, large, large, small, small, large, large, small, and going back in the same reverse order with the first and third finger, but we can do the same, even if harder, with second and fourth. Same kind of sound. Really make sure to keep the bow close to the bridge. Especially in the areas of the instrument that may be not so used to play. So make sure to have a stronger set of fingers and sustain until the end of the note. That's all for today. So see you at the next video.